Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new. So the Champions League group stages are officially over and done with, and the remaining 16 teams in the competition for the knockout stages has now been decided. Some big names going out with the competition, notably two other teams from the Premier League in Manchester United and Newcastle United. Try not to laugh while saying that. And AC Milan, another notable team that I can think of off the top of my head who's left the competition. And now it's on to Monday when the draw for the round of 16 will be taking place, and we'll see who Arsenal have in the first round of fixtures, and hopefully we'll see how far we can go, which is something we're going to discuss in this video. Before we go into that, let's quickly just talk about our last group stage game. Not much to talk about in this one. PSV away, both teams had already qualified. None of them could overtake the other. Arsenal had already confirmed top spot and PSV had confirmed to finish second. So it was a little bit of a dead rubber game. Both teams making a lot of changes. Arsenal brought in some fringe players. They gave Ramsdale his first Champions League start, which, you know, we all know my thoughts on that. I feel like he should have played this whole round of fixtures, but unfortunately he didn't. Cedric started his first game in God knows how long. To be fair to him, he actually played all right. And then Saliba and Gabriel started, which I think everyone wasn't happy about and confused about. You know, unnecessary risk in my opinion. And then Arteta said something in his conference, you know, suggesting Saliba might have a slight sort of problem, but he also said he thinks he should be okay. So hopefully that's all right. Kivior started left back. El Neni started his first game in I don't know how long. Jorginho and Havertz played, and in the front three of Nketiah, Reece Nelson and Trossard. Reece Nelson, I think, was our best player on the day. I thought he played well. Nketiah had a nice finish for the goal. That was set up by Nelson, but I don't think Nketiah played that great overall. But it was a nothing game, really. And, you know, 1-1 was probably about right. We could have won it in the end with Trossard, but PSV had their chances as well. And, yeah, like I said, the biggest thing for us is that hopefully, you know, we didn't pick up any injuries and we crack on for Brighton and look forward to Monday to see who we end up drawing. I saw a lot of outrage online that people were quite disappointed that none of the youngsters come on. I think the three from the academy who went was Sousa, Wanyeri and Walters. And yeah, I mean, look, I would have played Walters for certain over Saliba. I wouldn't have risked him, but Arteta does what Arteta does. So nothing game, nice goal by Nketiah, but there's not really much to talk about. Mainly in the video, I wanted to speak about the round of 16 and more importantly, how far can Arsenal go? Can we actually win the Champions League? It's going to be tough. A lot of things are going to have to go in our favour, but I believe we can do it. And I'm probably going to get the piss taken out of me for this when we get knocked out probably in the round of 16 by someone stupid, you know, going off Arsenal's history. But hopefully this current Arsenal team can right some wrongs and go far in the competition. So just looking at the teams who are left in the competition, first of all in Group 1, well, Pot 1 should I say, which is what Arsenal will be involved in. The 8 teams are Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Borussia Dortmund, Arsenal, Real Madrid, Manchester City, Real Sociedad and Atletico Madrid. Those 8 teams will be playing their first leg of the round of 16 away from home, and then they get the advantage of having the second leg at home. And then the teams in Pot 2 who will be getting drawn against these teams are Porto, Copenhagen, Inter Milan, Lazio, Napoli, RB Leipzig, PSG and PSV Eindhoven. So there are some tough teams there who Arsenal ideally would probably want to avoid in this round and get some of the easier teams. Just going to run through some of the teams I think we should be looking at. Obviously we can't draw PSV as they were already in our group. So that already eliminates one of the 8. So the 7 we're looking at would be Porto, Copenhagen, Inter, Lazio, Napoli, Leipzig and PSG. For me, I think we can beat any one of those teams over 2 legs, personally. I think we're arguably better than all of them. The only 2 in an ideal world I'd want to avoid would be Inter, because I do think Inter have a really good team and they've played quite well this season. They've got a banging form striker in Martinez. And overall, I just think they're quite a solid team. And PSG, I'd want to avoid, even though I don't really rate PSG in the Champions League, and I don't think they had a great group stage. They probably would have expected to top their group, and they just about scraped coming second in the end. So, yeah, if Newcastle had won yesterday, PSG would have been out. That's how tight it was. So, as much as I'd rather avoid them, and I'd rather let someone like a Madrid, Barca, Bayern or City get them and, you know, give them a slightly harder game. So, but other than that, I would take any team, to be honest. I believe we beat Porto over 2 legs. I believe we beat Copenhagen over 2 legs. Lazio, Napoli, Leipzig, and... Oh, sorry, we can't get PSV. But I believe we can beat anyone else over 2 legs. Napoli would be a hard game as well. So, I would take... Really and truly, I'll take anyone there. But if I've had to pick one out... If I could pick one personally, I'd probably go with Porto, I think, or Copenhagen. Take one of those two. Should be... look, we can't take it lightly. Any game's going to be hard. But it should be a game that we can win over 2 legs fairly comfortably and move on to the quarterfinals. And in the quarterfinals is when we can draw anyone, and that's when things will start getting tight. But as you know, the title of this video is, can Arsenal win the Champions League? I believe we can. And like I said earlier, I think a lot of things have to go our way. But I believe if we can avoid... To be honest, the only team over 2 legs where I don't believe we could beat them over 2 legs would be City. If we had to play City, I'd rather play them in a one-off game in the final. Real Madrid is obviously the other one that would be extremely tough over 2 legs. But I believe we could beat them. I don't think Real Madrid are as good as people, you know, are probably used to. They're still they're a little bit in transition in a way. Obviously, Bellingham's gone in and he's absolutely smashing it. They have a strong midfield. Their defence is fairly good. And they've got 2 outstanding wingers in Vinicius and Rodrigo. But they are lacking a striker. I mean, look, they might sort that out in Jan. But I'm just going off what the teams are now. So, Real Madrid would be the second team I'd want to avoid just because of their heritage in the Champions League and the fact they are the most successful club in the competition, and just playing them brings a different sort of pressure. But do I believe we could beat them? Yes. And then after that, it'd be Bayern, who I'd want to avoid for as long as possible. Again, I believe we could beat Bayern over 2 legs. You look at United, even though they knocked United out, scores were still fairly tight in both games. And it would be a tough game. Both Real Madrid, I mean, any team here could realistically beat anyone over 2 legs. But if I could avoid them 3 for as long as possible, hopefully they play each other at some point and then one of them goes out. And then in the next game, hopefully whoever 2 remain can play each other. And in the meantime, hopefully they can draw a PSG or Inter on the way and knock people out. So for Arsenal to win this competition, I think we need a lot of luck. We need luck with injuries, luck with the draw, and just luck on the day whoever, you know, we play in general game decisions and, you know, rubs of the green, etc. But I believe we could do it. If we could get on the right side of a draw and get a fairly favourable draw, like what like what Inter Milan got last season and Liverpool got, I think it was the season beforehand, when they got to the final and lost to Real Madrid. Liverpool had an easy run. I think they had to play like Benfica, and a couple of other beatable teams. Top of my head, I can't fully remember. But Inter had a fairly favourable draw last season as well, and they ended up getting to the final. So I believe it's something we could get to. And then on the final, like I said before, I will take anyone in the final. I don't care if it's City, Madrid, Bayern, PSG, Inter, Napoli, whoever it is, I'll take them in the final. If Arsenal can somehow get to the final, you take anyone on the day, and then whoever's day it is so be it. However, saying all this and saying how much I believe Arsenal could do it, etc., you know, if it Party coming back in, maybe a few signings in Jan, you know, we could beat anyone. However, we all know Arsenal's history in Europe, and it is, you know, it is pitiful to say the very least. So, as much as I'm saying all this, it's in our club's history not to do very, very, very well in Europe. But can this crop of players and this manager turn things around? I mean, look, it's our first season back in Champions League for God knows how many years. First time a lot of these players have played in Champions League. If we did win it, it would be a fucking miracle. Quite simply. It would be incredible. And if you ask me right now, Premier League or Champions League, I'm taking Champions League every day of the week and twice on Sunday. I would love to win this competition more than anything in the world. But it's going to take a hell of a lot to go in our favour. But yeah, who would you guys want in the draw? And do you think Arsenal can actually win it? I'm going to do a video, obviously, on Monday evening when the draw's done, talking about who obviously we've drawn and the other fixtures, and see if there's because sometimes you sort of know your pathway to the final, who you might be playing next and next and next, etc. if you get through. So if they sort of do it in that format again, then I'll be able to speak about it. But if not, we'll just discuss who we've got and who the others have got. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just a quick video just speaking about obviously who's through and if we can win it. Do you think we can? Leave a like and comment. Let me know who you want, if you think Arsenal can actually win it, and who you think the biggest threats are. And yeah, I'll be doing my Brighton preview tomorrow, so that should be out on Friday or Saturday. And yeah, we've got a big few Premier League games, and we really truly don't have to worry about the Champions League until Feb. Brighton next, and then Liverpool after that, and then we have a fairly decent run, which I will talk through after the Liverpool game. But big game on Sunday, and yeah, we'll be talking about it tomorrow. Thanks guys, like I said, please do like, comment, subscribe and share, and talk to you soon. Thank you, bye bye.